Xander, did you know you have 2K subs on your YouTube channel?
Subs.
Yeah, can you say thanks for 2K subs?
Thank you for 2K subs.
That's right, a huge thank you to all our wonderful subscribers. It seems like only yesterday we were talking about being on our way to 200 subs. Now we're at 2,000. Hard to believe, but time flies, my friends. Thank you for being here with us. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new here, on this channel we talk about the growth and development of babies and young children to help you navigate the complex waters of modern parenthood. In today's video, we're going to get into the personal finance side of raising kids. This is the first of a two-part series. In the second part, we'll talk about investing with your kids and some ways to get them excited about building wealth from a young age. But in this first part, we're going to focus on saving for college. We'll talk about the different account and plan options you have, how they work, and the rules for each. So let's jump into it. When you think of saving or investing for your child, the first thing that probably comes to mind is college. But the landscape of higher education is changing, and we've long since started down an uncertain, and some might say irreversible, path. Tuition costs have been on the rise for decades, fueled by government-backed loan programs that provide easy money to an ever-expanding student population. But why is it that prices go up when the government gets involved? Well, the answer is in the guarantee. When the government guarantees a loan, creditors, in this case colleges and universities, become the beneficiaries of a long and well-established track record. In other words, there's just about no one who's in a more powerful financial position than the federal government. So you can't exactly blame colleges and universities for being major proponents of school loans. Uncle Sam's stamp of approval is about the strongest endorsement you can get. So colleges raise prices because essentially they've been given implicit permission to do so. Increasing competition among prospective students means that demand just keeps going up. And if everyone can take out a quick and easy loan to pay for school, then you've got no excuse but to pay what everyone else is willing to pay. So as long as this system remains in place, cost increases are all but guaranteed to continue long into the future. The unfortunate side effect of this is, of course, that many college graduates begin their working careers under the weight of massive debt in the form of their student loans. There are two opposing schools of thought when it comes to fixing this problem. One opinion is that the government should get even more involved in the form of student loan forgiveness and free college for all, which would of course encourage schools to continue raising prices, at least theoretically. The other option is that the government should become less involved and should stop providing loan guarantees, which would in turn make loans far riskier for colleges and students alike, and would almost certainly force schools to bring tuitions back down to affordable levels. Fun fact, college used to be way more affordable before government loan programs began. People were actually able to work their way through college and graduate with no debt. So in a sense, the student debt crisis exists specifically because of these loan programs that have made borrowing money so much more commonplace. I don't believe the government is any more likely to stop guaranteeing loans than it is to start providing free college to everyone, so I would not recommend shaping your long-term plans around either of those extreme scenarios. The same goes for any outside factor that might affect your family's finances. Whenever you make a large financial move, whether it be taking out a loan, buying a house, or a car, when you sign on the dotted line, make sure you're willing and able to stick to that agreement. Some people, myself included, believe that college will become somewhat less relevant as the digital age continues to make learning more readily available and generates new ways for people to earn a living without a degree. It's anyone's guess as to what the future of higher education is actually going to look like over the next 10 or 20 years. It's probably not going to go away entirely, but the role it plays in allowing people to earn a living is likely to change. Regardless of that likelihood, I don't want to put off investing now based on what may or may not happen later. And I don't want to take the option of college off the table for my children or make it so they have to accrue tons of debt if they do decide to attend. My parents funded something like 75% or more, if I'm remembering correctly, of my college tuition. And because of that, and because of the fact that I worked through college to pay the remaining 20 to 25% each semester, I was fortunate enough to graduate with no debt of any kind. I would love to give that same kind of gift to my kids, but of course, college was a lot less expensive back when I went. As of this school year, tuition at my alma mater is about 2.5 times what it was the year I graduated just over a decade and a half ago. Do you think wages have risen 2.5 times above what they were in the early 2000s? Neither do I. So when it comes to saving for college, despite all the uncertainties of the future, the fact is that the earlier you can get started, the better. As it happens, the earliest you can open a college savings account for your child in the US is the moment their social security number arrives in the mail. That's what I did for Xander, and that's what I plan to do for our newborn daughter, Lily. So let's say you've made the decision that you're going to set some college money aside on a regular basis for your kids. Some people prefer to use more flexible investment vehicles like savings bonds, CDs, custodial savings accounts, or Roth IRAs. But we'll talk about those in part 2 of this video because here we want to focus on the 2 main account types specifically designed for college. Those are the prepaid tuition plan and the 529 savings plan. There are some similarities between the two. Both allow you to make after-tax contributions and withdraw the money tax-free as long as it's used to cover qualifying education expenses. The major difference is that prepaid tuition can only be used for tuition, whereas funds from a 529 can go not only towards tuition but also toward just about any other school-related expense, including room and board, textbooks, technology fees, campus usage fees, meal plans, or equipment. Interestingly, you can't pay for parking passes with 529 funds. I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, if you spend funds from either prepaid tuition or a 529 on a non-qualified use, that is, a use that's not covered under that specific type of plan, you will pay a 10% tax penalty, and you may have to pay both state and federal income taxes on the earnings as well. So let's go over how each plan works. In a prepaid tuition plan, you make payments into a large fund where a bunch of money is pooled together from other investors. Then the manager of the fund decides how to invest that entire pool of money. In exchange for your payments, you're awarded a number of units or credits toward your child's future tuition. So it's kind of like locking in tomorrow's tuition rates at today's prices. Some plans guarantee their coverage amounts into the future, while others reserve the right to modify them if, for example, the fund manager's investments don't pan out as well as expected. Now, a 529 is more like a traditional investment account in that you're the fund manager. You choose how to allocate your dollars across a number of available investments. You can decide how conservative or aggressive you want to be based on the investment vehicles you select. But the full account value, both your contributions and your gains, are yours in a dollar amount, so they're not converted into credits or units, and they remain isolated from other investors' money. Prepaid tuition is generally available only to residents of the state where the plan is based, whereas a 529, sponsored by any state, can be opened by a person in any other state. So if I lived in Nebraska, say, I could open a 529 in Vermont or California or Texas or Idaho or any state I wanted. Each state's plan has its own minor variations, like for example, if you open a 529 in the state where you live, you may be able to deduct contributions from your state income tax. Funds from most 529s can be spent at any qualifying institution nationwide and even some schools overseas, whereas it's more common for prepaid tuition plans to guarantee coverage only at a select school or group of schools because it's easier to account for future costs when schools are within the same general price range. So in other words, you're not likely to find a prepaid tuition plan that's going to offer equivalent coverage at both your local community college and, say, Harvard. The bottom line? The type of plan you choose mostly depends on how comfortable you are with investing and how flexible you'd like to be when it comes to your child's choice of schools. Every plan comes with its own unique terms, so you should of course read the fine print before you sign up. And if in doubt, your home state's 529 savings plan is more than likely a very solid bet. But of course, consult a qualified financial advisor if you feel like you're in over your head. So that's the rundown on saving for college. But what about general investing and helping your child build enthusiasm about building wealth? Well, we cover that in part 2 of this series about money and kids, so be sure to check out our channel for more on that, as well as lots of other kid and parenting related topics. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you have questions or tips to share, be sure to drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoy watching lots of others like it, we'd love for you to join us by subscribing to the channel. We're here to share our parenting experiences with you and build a community where we can all help each other grow and learn so we can be better and do better for our kids. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you think we're doing well, and we will see you in the next one. Can I buy a Xander, please? Can I purchase a Xander? You are $149. I'll take one. I'll take your last Xander.
Okay, go.